Right guys, another update. Everything seems to be working pretty well. Noticed one negative side effect, which is I've had like a spot breakout in my back. I knew this was always going to happen. I am prone to having spots. When I was a kid, I had quite bad acne on my back and also on my face. So it was almost 100% certain guaranteed that it was going to happen. So not really that bummed about it. Just if it does happen to any of you guys, just be careful when you're in the gym that, you know, sometimes that if your back becomes crowded with spots and you're heavy weight training, if you're wearing a vest, you may leave, you know, either spot residue or blood on any of the facilities you're using. So just keep that in mind, guys. And if you do, make sure you either clean it up before someone else uses that bit of equipment, or just wear a t-shirt and just bear with it. But yeah, just fully expected it, so no big surprise there. Ended up having to change slightly the testosterone I'm using. I was using Enviroment and now I'm on Cyprinate, purely down to availability. I will be going back onto the Enviroment shortly, possibly looking at a brand change due to, I've heard some very positive feedback and statistics from labs testing CGX, which is a fairly new based product to the market under my understanding. So yeah, in terms of training, things have had to change a bit. Predominantly I was training heavy with good form, but that was the kind of foundation cornerstone of how I was training. I'm going to have to change and alter that because my lower back is having quite a severe battering, really, from doing heavy back squats, heavy deadlifting, heavy rows, and so on. And being a tall guy as well, you know, your back does take a hell of a beating. And no matter how much recovery work I was doing, it isn't easing up. So going to have to really focus on working spinal erectors and my lower back in terms of recovery. So just changing my training style a lot more to do with kind of pausing and squeezing, slightly higher volumes, slightly higher rep ranges, reducing rest periods. So the intensity is still there. You should always train with the intensity. So instead of the intensity of training with 85% of my 1 rep max, I'll be cranking up in terms of reducing rest periods, focusing on that failure point with pausing and squeezing, and then once you reach failure with that pausing and squeezing, continue to rep until you reach proper muscle failure. So yeah, it's just going to be a bit of a change of pace. It's going to be interesting, always keeping things fresh and changing ideas, because if you don't keep on changing, guys, then you're going to get quite stagnant no matter what you do in terms of your training or any performance enhancing drugs. So that's where we're at, guys. Any further information I'll be putting up there. Just one more quick topic I want to touch on is about environmental effects. Now, what I mean by about environmental effects is, as a whole, most of us are products of our own environment. If people grow up in a very positive and nurturing family environment and educational environment and so on, those people tend to be very positive, very affluent, very, you know, outgoing people. If you grow up in an environment where, you know, you're surrounded by a lot of negativity, a lot of you can't do this, or you're not going to achieve that, or you're going to restrict yourself without you consciously knowing about it, you will restrict yourself. Now, how this affects you in a gym environment is very much, if you don't have the mindset of why not, why can't I do that, and if you don't think that you can do something, or at least attempt to try it, then you never will be able to do that thing. I found that as soon as I changed the gym environments I was training at, my results drastically improved. I was training at a local leisure centre facility for many years, which did get me quite far as a natural. The people that worked there were incredibly helpful and a huge amount of knowledge. But as far as the actual facility was concerned, it was seriously lacking in equipment and funding. So I moved gyms to Tommy's gym, which is based in Johnstown in Carmarthen. And literally, guys, this gym is literally just a room. There's no windows, there's no fans, there's no air conditioning. It's just literally a room and a door and some high intensity lighting above. All the equipment is quite old equipment, but I can tell you now, this equipment will take a fucking hiding. It'll last 10 million times more than these modern new bits of equipment you see in these state-of-the-art facilities. Some of the equipment here is 40 years plus, and it still works like it's brand new. And training in an environment like this, although it's a bit more hardcore, it's a bit more intense, you don't have to deadlift quietly. You can scream, you can shout, you can spew, you can bleed, whatever it takes for you to get the results you want or train however you want. You're not going to interrupt, you're not going to stop people from training here. They all know the score, you know, lifting straps, chalk, everything goes here. And I found that training in an environment like this has really kind of helped me ramp my own intensity in the gym and how I perceive things. And the knowledge that you tend to find in places like this, especially these little back alley places or whatever, you know, places aren't widely advertised and they're like little known secret places by the locals. The amount of information you will find in places like this, not just in terms of how to train and life experience with bodybuilding and so on, but also things about performance enhancing drugs. The knowledge you find in places like this is where you really improve your own knowledge to make it a lot safer for yourselves. And surely that should be the one most key important factor in your whole decision process, whether you want to do performance enhancing drugs or not. Whether you can keep yourself safe, keep your health at an absolute premium, and then think of your secondary, whether you want to get big or get ripped or lean or whatever. That should always be secondary to your health. So places like this, you will find so much more information and so much more like-minded people. And once you surround yourself with like-minded people to what you want to achieve and who you want to be, you will find that your progress will jump a million miles. Big shout out to Jeremy Ray, who's the owner of this gym. And ever since I met Jez, massive positive influence on my personal experience and my training in a massive way. I mean, I thought my knowledge was to a fairly competent level. Then I met Jez and realized that I knew fuck all. So it is really inspiring and eye-opening when you meet people like this who eventually become, you know, some people you really consider as a close friend, and they're the people that will drive you. They're the people that will pick you up when you're down. They're the people that will get you to that point where you never thought possible. And then you'll find that one day you are that person to someone else. It's all a big helping learning curve, and it's all a big family, guys. If you're into the fitness, you're into bodybuilding, why don't we just all help each other out? Because at the end of the day, if we all help each other out, we all get somewhere. Anyway, guys, just food for thought. Another video coming up shortly. Hope you guys are all doing good. Take it easy.